handle the truth.
Goodness, that's me. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, the government told me what date it is, so don't you ever question them. They're the best. Anyway, we're going to call it May 27th. It's a Wednesday, 2026. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We are halfway through this year, aren't we? Creeping up on the end of old May here, going into June. Getting the halfway point. Only about 6 more payments, house payments, till Christmas. So cool that. 4 more till Thanksgiving. 3 more till Halloween. 2 more till school starts. Anyway, so yeah, that's the cool stuff. So don't worry about that. Anyway, remember that time is local. I want us to get back to that old way of thinking of things, but what do I know? I must not know a lot. I'm so confused. I don't know how to handle myself. Anyway, today's episode is called Trouble. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, Brenda. I appreciate it. I called today's Trouble because it seems like everybody is getting in trouble. And I mean that in a way that it's like very profound. I'm seeing a lot of different things going on out here, including Mrs. Hochul. Now, Mrs. Hochul, she's that New York governor that has now gone and given Zoran Mandandi $8 billion. Guys, not my words. I'm not on Mandandi's hate list here. I'm not doing that. But to close up the gap in the $8 billion gap that Mandandi had in the New York City budget, I'm sorry, it was actually 14. It was actually 14 billion. But he went ahead and stopped paying certain people payouts on their retirement. That's how he closed the gap on the other $7 billion. So what he did is he did not contribute. He did not make payments to the retirement policy, the retirement account for New York City workers. I bet this is going to go over well when you're bankrupting the retirement system of New York to close the gap because you're trying to give people free shit today. Aren't you kind of going off of backwards of exactly what your socialist... I mean, see, remember, socialism means that all my bills are taken care of by the government. My food, my shelter, my electricity, my water. When you take away people's retirement, aren't you taking away their food and their water and their electricity? I don't know, Mr. Mandandi. You got to figure that out, buddy. I appreciate your candor and your ability to be optimistic, thinking that you can just go give away shit and then everybody's going to like you. By the way, how did that work out for Uncle Barry? Yes, he did win against Mitt Romney. I did vote for Mitt Romney. I am highly disappointed in myself. I would not have voted for Barry either. But my point is he gave away cell phones and internet and cash and health care and food and all this stuff. Do people still like him? Well, those that got free shit did. But those of us that really saw him for what he was, we don't. Well, Mr. Mandandi, I hope someday you figure it out and see what you get yourself into there, get it all turned around. Marlene, good to see you over there on Rumble. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Far-left leftist governor Kathy Hochul attempted to call President Trump's New York Knicks fandom into question, blew up in his face after he made an embarrassing error regarding the team's history. Now, see, I don't talk about NBA. I don't talk about the PGA. I don't talk a lot about a lot of physics that I don't know. I don't talk about a lot of the economy stuff I don't know. I stay out of lanes just because I just feel like I ought to stay out of lanes because I don't feel like I've got enough information to chime in. But some people, no. You don't need information. You don't need to worry about being factual. You don't need to worry about any of that good stuff. So this whole thing. I got a gnat in here. How did I get a gnat down here? You know how far you got to come down and to get into this studio, into this house? Anyway. Okay, so I just try not to talk about things that are like, I feel like a gnat's around here somewhere. It's not a floater, I know that. But you just don't, like, if someone says, well, hey, what do you think about, jet propulsion or rocket science or, or stuff like that? And I'm like, well, I know a little bit about how things, there's a suck, bang, blow. You suck the air in, you make it bang, and then you make it blow out the ass end. I kind of know that part of it, and I know a few other things. But, here we go. It's just, Ken, what's up? Jim sounds Hindi when he says, no. Appreciate that. Far left New York governor, she's out there. She's trying to call Trump. He's an idiot, right? Well, the Knicks reached the Knicks reached the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999 after sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals on Monday. Following the sweep, the New York Times reported that Trump, a lifelong Knicks fan, was planning to attend the NBA Finals game at the historic Madison Square Garden. Now, listen. So, what if I wanted to go, Kathy? Are you gonna? Is there something about me that if I again, this is where I don't understand. Like, okay, I'm gonna go. I like the New York Knicks. I'm gonna go to their games because they're going to the final. But here we go. Trump confirmed these intentions on Wednesday during a cabinet meeting at the White House. I was going to go on Wednesday, which was supposed to be Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but they closed it out very quickly, Trump told the New York Post. They're great, and Jim Dolan's a great guy. He, as you know, owns and is in charge of Madison Square Garden. He's having a great year. Well, here's Hochul. And why not? Well, let's just see what she has to say here. Let's get her tuned up here. Get her in the old picture here. Now, here she is. If you guys forgot anything about this.
What do you think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? I think that's how the Times reported it.
Okay, the reporter asked, what do you say to President Trump saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? This is the question. Now, I know this is a little bit this is a very short video, but here we go. Watch.
What do you think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
And what are you?
So that's cool and all, but, what do I know? So Kathy Hochul got the years wrong, but then sits there and tries to make it like, hey, tell me the starting lineup from the 99 Cavaliers or the New York Knicks. My problem with that is that what does that mean? Because a dude, it's been 27 years. Now, I have been a Chiefs fan since around 89, 90 is when I became a Chiefs fan. Before that, I was a New York Giants fan. Not because of anything in particular, but I just thought they were a great team for whatever reason, and that nobody ever told me to like the Chiefs or like anybody in particular. And I even lived in Phoenix when the Cardinals were out there, and I wasn't a Cardinals fan. Now, again, I'm not a diehard Chiefs fan with 12 jerseys and memorabilia. I don't even know if I have any Chiefs stuff. I think I have a hat. I have a Chiefs hat. Yes, I do have a 47 Chiefs hat, 47 brand Chiefs hat. That's it. So, again, that's my level of chiefdom. But my point of this is that we're going back to an article where she's trying to get one on Trump, but Trump is actually being invited by the owner of the building and the team. Gee, many Christmas, this lady just can't keep her foot out of it, It's just like, ugh. So anyway, now there's been some other things, like I said, trouble. So that was a little bit of trouble there. But here's another one. Spencer Pratt demands investigation of Karen Bass for flagrant violations of election laws after campaign video shows illegal electioneering. So you know who Karen Bass is, right? The black, she's like a half black lady with the real tight fro that she keeps like right in here, like it's almost like a skull cap thing where she does, but then it's slightly red but slightly blonde, but looks like it should be black. You know the lady, you've seen her before. Come on now. So let's take a look and see what old Karen Bass is doing here. So here we go. This is what he wants to see. Uh-oh. We're going to get a...
Today, I'm going to show...
Got a commercial. Sorry, guys. And boom, we're out of it.
Let's get straight to it.
There we go.
Hey! Hello, everybody! All right! We're on the countdown! On the countdown! Just one more week! One more week! Let me just thank you so much for all of your support. I know you have been walking precincts, you've been making phone calls, you've been over there at the headquarters, because we're gonna bring this to home base and win, right? I even have the babies on my side. Babies for Bass. All right. You're never too young. Hi, Joy. Thank you. Babies for Bass.
Here we go.
One more vote to win. One more vote to win. All right. There you go. Done. Well, I have to say that you should vote today. Fill out your ballot, hand it to your postal worker, or come to a voting box like this. We have a few days left in this election, and we are going to take it to victory.
I don't know what the election integrity issue was there, other than that we were basically, looks like we were doing some, I don't know. There's a couple things that make me question what we're going to do there. As evidence in her own social media post, Karen Bass has violated the law by soliciting votes, holding signs, asking voters to vote for her, describing the qualifications and process of casting a ballot, and engage in blatant electioneering directly near a polling place and drop box. Oops. Due to the fact that the ballots already being cast during early voting, election day should be broadly construed here. Indeed, it's just a matter of Karen Bass being too close, but rather that she shows herself and others directly submitting their ballots into the drop box, all while electioneering, soliciting votes, and promoting such activity all over her social media. Such clear violations of electioneering restrictions show a reckless disregard for the rule of law and apparent belief that she did not comply with relevant restrictions. Now, listen, I'm reading this thing here. This is where we, yesterday, I talked about this yesterday. There is, if you're not willing to say this, I know what we need. I know what it was. Here's the best way to do this. If I am, let's say, McDonald's, and I want to sell more hamburgers, should I, one, look at quality, probably, pricing, customer service, building location, quality of building, or should I go kill or put a bullet in Burger King's head? Should I put a bullet in Chick-fil-A's head? Should I put a bullet in Wendy's head? Should I burn down Popeyes? I couldn't think of another fast food. And so you see what I'm saying here? If I'm wanting, and here's the problem with Karen and those guys, is they are doing things because to them there is no boundary, because the only thing is victory. And so when I was talking about 8 years ago, I said that the Democrats and the elites of this world, those who believe they're in the cool kids club, would rather burn this thing down and rule over a pile of ashes than ever let you win. That is a real conversation that we can have today, finally, that makes a lot more sense today than it did 8 years ago. When I came up with that statement, and that was one I used consistently over and over again, and part of my intro, outro of the show, that's a big, big deal. So, by the way, guys, if I want to sell more cheeseburgers, should I create a better cheeseburger and make sure I'm in the place where people like to buy cheeseburgers? Yes. Or should I just go kill the people because they're not buying my cheeseburger? Or should I kill the other competition? Or should I get better about me? Should I get better about my messaging? Should I create a buzz? Should I create that viral effect? My problem is that, guys, we are too easily swung into politics to believe that the end goal justifies the murders, the destruction of lives. Look at what happened to me. I mean, I was a defense contractor for almost 18 years. I was doing great. And I lost it all overnight. But that is the victory for them. That is because they wanted Lynn Rogers more than me. Because Lynn Rogers is a better candidate. Or is he? Because we lost $1.5 billion in our unemployment account here in the state of Kansas back in 2022. And Lynn Rogers moved from lieutenant governor to treasurer overnight, and then after a year, resigned or retired. The guy went from state senate to lieutenant governor to treasurer, then resigns. Sounds kind of weird. No scandals in his book. He's just a banker from western Kansas that shut down banking. Oh, wait. No, wait. He didn't shut down banks. He shut down farms for the bank. Good guy. But hey, what do I know? But again, guys, this is where I'm talking about. My life's destruction, the value of my life, the things that were destroyed and the reputations and all that stuff that had to go on, including the articles that are still out there, was absolutely necessary for the victory of Lynn. Lynn had to win. He's your guy. He's the cool kids club. My destruction is exactly what I'm talking about when we no longer have the ability to use our language and our ideas to influence or to bring people into our ideology, bring them closer, to buy our cheeseburger. No, violence is the only answer. Death is the only answer. Killing your enemy is the only answer to an election. Elections have become so severe, so important that you are to kill your enemy no matter what. To execute, to maim, to leave waste, to everything you can to maintain a singular victory in a ballot box. Why do you want to be in control so bad? Why do you want to be perceived as being the authority? Why do you think you have to be in there? Guys, for me, it was tough for me. Because even when I went down there, I stood outside that county courthouse and I walked and thought what I was doing. And I made a couple phone calls and I'm like, am I sure I want to do this? Is this what I want to do? To me, I was like, golly, am I the right guy? Do I want to make sure that am I going to be the person that does the right and says the do's, the does, and doesn't? I was worried about all those things. But Karen Bass over here, she's not even thinking about that. She just wants 4 more years of not you. 4 more years of no. 4 more years of government. 4 more years of we have to get more of this. Hey, Eddie, good to see you. Ken's in here. Yeah, right, Jim. You were totally wearing a Chiefs banana hammock when we watched the Chiefs-Broncos game. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate that, partner. Some secrets are supposed to be secret, I thought. Anyway, that's kind of like the government. That's just all everybody's everything out there. No worries, Ken. I appreciate it, buddy. Good job. Courtney Allen, our teams hate each other. That this is me telling you, like the Bengals. Oh, you're a Bengals fan, Courtney. You're a big Bengals fan. That's got to be hard. So thank you for that, Charlie Francis. I appreciate your candor and your well wishes about that. He says, "I'm very sorry, brother." No, hey, here's the thing, Charlie. Listen. Yes, the absolute dead stop of the whole thing is Ben Burgess knew he signed the no-knock warrant on my house. My friend, my judge friend, who I'd been having coffee with for 5 years, almost every morning for 5 years, that guy right there, he could have stopped it. But he showed me that sometimes even your friends aren't your friends, that maybe your circle's a little too loose. But then when I actually started seeing how my social groups treated me and how those people that are supposed to leave a man better than they found him, those kind of groups and those kind of organizations, those kind of investments, those kind of friends all vanished overnight. And what I actually found inside of me was the man that I needed to be all along. But over the last 10 years, Charlie, I will tell you the first 3 were horrific. On the 4th year, when I started kind of figuring out where I needed to be and what I needed to be and where I needed to go and what I was going to be, I found out what THC is because I wasn't a person that was either trying to legalize it or trying to keep it illegal. I wasn't either way. I had no dog in the fight. But suddenly now I'm an expert because why? Well, you told me that I'm a drug dealer, so I had to go out and find out what it was you were referring to. But see, here's the problem with all that. All those things that I got to learn and all those things I got to discover and all those things made me who I am today, which I feel is so much better than I've ever been in my entire life. Mostly just being honest with myself about the people that I love and the people that I thought loved me and the people I thought I loved and the people that I should love more. I had to learn that. And that was the lesson, guys. See, the problem with most of the time when we get into a situation, we just think it's traffic, but maybe that traffic kept you from a concrete truck rolling your ass over. Maybe that traffic was there to let you just take a little time to see a billboard or take some time to watch a bird fly by. Maybe you just needed a little time. Courtney Allen says, yeah, Bengals, baby. I live outside of Cincy. At least we don't have Swifties on our side. Oh, I know. Well, Travis Kelce's going to come back one more year. I think last year should have been his last year. I think he sucks. Travis Kelce's not going to have a knockout year. He was off pace last year. He was one step slower than he should have been. I think he's too worried about being a Swiftie himself than worrying about being a amazing football player he used to be. I will tell you, Swiftie has made him softy. Whatever, however you want to put that, roll that around in your mouth. But that's what I think what Swifties have done with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce used to be a monster. His yards after catch and all that good stuff, he was a beast. But now he's just a regular old guy who's got a girlfriend who wants to be in charge, and so he's not. All right. But anyway, getting back to the things of, the whole idea of this is that when you are willing to go to death, when you're willing to kill, when you're willing to execute, just like the guy who, the 4th assassination was the guy that was shooting at the White House a few days ago. Now, I do know that Trump did cancel or plan to go to Camp David, and he did hold his conference in the White House. But why I do believe, as an individual who does believe and understands physical security sites, I understand what it takes to keep bombs and bullets and missiles away. I know what those take, and I will tell you what has probably been made clear to Trump is that he does not have the security that he needs in Camp David to be able to protect against the drones. Now, the problem with this is we kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger with our planes and faster and faster and faster and sharper and sharper and sharper. Now your kid's backyard little RC plane is now flying intercontinental and continental missions to go kill other people. Just like I know where the Air Force runs most of their flights out of. It's not Iran. They're not sitting there in Iran watching it through a VR headset or watching it visually going, I'm trying to get that Ayatollah guy. No, they're in a high sophisticated room fully secured in a remote location, nowhere near the theater. Now, one of the things I learned about the theater, being a security specialist and things I had to do, for me, when I look at how the patterns are with the White House, the ballroom, Camp David, all these different things, guys, I'm telling you right now, as a person who's put gun ranges in houses, I've done amazing projects. I will tell you that there's been several situations in Trump's presidency that I know when they said certain things, I know what it really meant, which was assassination attempts. And by the way, the assassination attempts are not always foreign. They're usually Americans. So, Courtney says that she's a Cincinnati Reds fan as well. My gosh. I didn't realize the side of her that came out of there with the whole baseball, football thing. I am a Chiefs and Royals fan. I watch the Royals. They're not a good team. They don't do that since the World Series they had, 12 years ago. It has been struggle bus for us. We do have Witt Jr. and a few other key players, but our pitching would rather just softball pitch you guys something and let you yard it over the fence. Last night, I think the Yankees scored 13, and it was 5 in the first inning. So, by the way, this is how close the Royals are to a really cool year. Our opening pitcher, I just happened to be here. I just happened to be sitting down and watch the opening. He goes up, pitch 2, gots the guy out. Pitch 5, dude's out of there. He's 5 pitches in, 2 outs. Here comes the next guy. He's got the guy down to 2 outs. Oh, no, the guy goes ahead and yards it for him. 1-0. And then the inning just fell apart from there. What happened was he went ahead and loaded the bases up, and then the guy came out with a grand slam, ran in 4 runs on us, 5-0. Then he finally gets the next guy out. The sad part of it is we are so close to amazing shit, but we just get these little things where all of a sudden the guy throws the ball, it doesn't quite sink or whatever the hell. I don't know baseball enough to understand all that shit. Sinker or fade away or this or that or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Anyway, he went from hero to zero in just a we're talking about a fraction of an inch on that little square on the TV. Good stuff. Anyway, what's Ken saying over there? Cleveland Indians are first in the AL Central. Oh, wow. Well, look at Ken being there, huh? I appreciate that. So anyway, getting back to the Karen Bass of it, when there is absolutely, when you absolutely have to kill your opponent because your message really doesn't, okay. I don't know of anybody that I can find that says that they have walked away from Trump. I have heard about anti-Trumps, never-Trumpers, all these different things. I've seen a few in the Senate and the House. But guys, out in the real world, I don't know. I haven't seen them. And I haven't interacted with them. I am media, so I am at these events, and I am media. I'm interacting with a lot of different people, and I don't hear this. So anyway, I just wonder if we do have ourselves in a bit of an era where we're going to find out through the investigations, through the trouble of things, getting into trouble, people getting in trouble, that a lot of what we thought was real is going to be gone. I know a lot of us were thinking that there were some tens of millions of people, 80 million, 90 million people that voted for Kamala or 80 million that voted for Biden back in 2020. Guys, I have seen the actual numbers, and this is the scary part. There are a lot of people who actually know the actual numbers from 2020 and 2024. The actual numbers. And it's literally 70-30. And it's not even really 70-30. It's more like 70-10. Well, Jim, that means there's 10% out there. Yeah, there was a lot of people that are voting libertarian and other things, and Mickey Mouse always gets 1 million every year. You guys realize there's like several million write-in votes for president that have nothing to do with any candidacy. Most of it's usually Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse comes in quite well each year. I wonder... I wonder when this is all going to come out and how it will look, and if we really can ever just have the truth about it out. Because when you have a 20, 30% of the population who is very, very, very... Listen, guys. I don't see civility. I don't see conversation. I don't see Biden 2020 flags on the road. And as I've driven across this country since 2020, I was driving back and forth. Sorry, my elbow's catching there. I was driving back and forth to the east and west coast in my truck I have now. I've been back and forth 5 times each way, at least. And that's not all the other this. And I got 180,000 on it now. And, guys, I never saw Biden stuff. Now, I would see, like, no Biden signs and screw, go Brandon signs. I would see stuff like that, but I did not see, guys, listen, and I'm talking Atlanta. I'm talking D.C. I'm talking Virginia. I'm talking in these Pennsylvania, these New York, these strongholds of the Democrats. Oh, yes, they're everywhere. But if we're tracking in a way, it is the stringboard of things. Remember, I've talked about this, I think Glenn Beck has one where he's got like a stringboard thing. I do believe that the stringboard that's going to connect the election honesty is going to come. Well, I say it's going to come, but it's going to come because I do believe this fall. I do believe we're going to see a larger than average reduction in Democrat voter turnout. Wink, wink. Air quotes in the air, winking my eye. Wink, wink. Well, why is that? Well, because we know through Dr. Douglas Frank, a friend of mine, I haven't talked to him in a little while. I got to get back with that guy, see how he's doing. Dr. Douglas Frank says it's so easy to take 15%. And I knew about this in 2016, and I didn't know Dr. Douglas Frank until I met him in 2020, was it? Or 2019? Oh, it was 2020. I met him in 2020. I met him at the Cyber Symposium up in South Dakota when he was up there. But I had already learned about the 15% because I saw it happen in my elections. When I was going up against Lynn Rogers, magically I'm ahead by 30, but then he beats me by 8% or 7% at the close of poll or at the end of the night. At close of poll, I'm up 30 or 28% or 32%. It's a big number. And then by the end of the night, I lost by 7% or 8%. Well, that is actually part of which the U.S. Marshals have talked to me all about it when they investigated the elections. But 15%, they know most all elections are within 7%. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what the position is, doesn't matter any of that. It's 7%. And so they steal it by 15 because they got to take your 7% victory, absorb that, and then do another. So they do 15%. It is literally, guys, listen to me. The way that you can steal an election is literally a spreadsheet quotient. The little quotient you put inside of a spreadsheet and says that everything in this column, take 15% and give it to this column. And that is literally it. That is all the command is to seal the... Guys, it is not somebody sitting in the dark and typing away at, the screens in their eyes. And they're bringing in antennas and satellites and calling in the... It's literally a spreadsheet equation. 15% from this box, which all of the voting boxes are just a spreadsheet. Literally, guys... I voted. This box gets a vote. This box gets a vote. It drops down. This box is this much. This box is this much. All these total this many. Hey, Dave Glevin, good to see you, man. And so all it is, Rhonda, good to see you. Luther Bradley, good to see you, man. Now, I will tell you, it is literally a single little rectangle box on a spreadsheet. And they go into the Dominion boxes, these electronic boxes, and they go in there and they drop that in there. And you never, ever know it unless you're there live to see the protocol happen. You have to witness it. Unless you know where the program is inside of the Dominion boxes, which is what Russia blocked, just like Hillary Clinton said. Russia interfered with our election. Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you for telling the god dang truth. Thank you. Because they stopped you from cheating. Yes, they interfered with the U.S. election by stopping you from cheating with the 15%. But here's what happened in 2020. It wasn't enough. The 15% wasn't enough. They were taking 15% from Trump, and it wasn't enough. He was still behind 10, 20%. And that's why you saw the hockey stick, because they had to jump that ratio up. They had to rotate that ratio up. They had to go in and do a master command late in the night when everything stopped. Everybody, don't touch the machines. Stop moving. Don't count. Let us get this right. And if you noticed, those counties and those states that were Democrat ran are the only ones that stopped counting in the middle of the night, but they were also the only ones that flipped for Joe in the middle of the night. Guys, it's 15% the whole way. And that's how they stole my election. That's how I found about it in 2018. I found out all about election integrity in 2019 and 2020. I learned all about my elections. I learned how they steal it. I learned it all before I met Dr. Douglas Frank. And then he comes in and goes, right here, I can see the voter registration and I can see where everything comes in. And all of a sudden, there's this big slip like this in this one area. Oh, that's where they touch it. That's where they do that. They wanted that election to be a certain way. And they will tell you it is a trend, hands down, hands down, hands down. And we know it. It's 15%. That's how they got away with it the whole time. But here's the problem, guys. When it doesn't matter, when killing you doesn't matter for an election, does the election even matter at all to them other than you believe that they won? Listen to the words I just said. Does it really matter whether they won or not? We did it, Joe. We did it. You know, I'm just out here running with security and doing a weird shit. Yeah, we did it, Joe. We did it. Did you? Or are you just so happy that you bothered to get some legacy media and a few other people to go ahead and make the call, bend the knee, and get the ratios just right so that you could say, yes, you won. Just like we couldn't go back and just do a small delay in January where we would have asked for a recount of electoral colleges. By the way, did you know there were 12 or 15 states that sent in duplicate ballots, meaning that they had the same Republican and same Democrat amount? That they didn't show a clear victory one way or the other? Which means it was required to go back to the states, and they were required to, in an open session, to do an entire recount right there in front of the people, and then resubmit their electoral college votes then. But we didn't, did we? Right, Mike Pence? You did us a solid, Mike. Good job, buddy. I hope the 30 pieces of silver was good enough for you. And I will give you this, guys. Even though Judas gave away Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, doesn't mean he lost all of his soul, but he was selling it away. He was giving it away. Terrence William, good to see you, man. He was selling that out for a little bit of integrity, a little bit of authenticity, a little bit of his soul, a little bit of that exchange, like the energy we talked about yesterday. Just like, hey, if you guys want me to go meet with the aliens, let's do this. I'll be the ambassador. I'll talk between us. Let's figure it out. The energy exchange that is in you Are you feeding the energy, right? What energy do you have? What energy are you feeding into? What are you giving away? So when you go and you do that little ask and they, hold on, and they do the challenge coin. I got this is one of the challenge coins I have here. Great Seal of America. So when you get that challenge coin, sometimes these challenge coins are because, you know what, that person looks at you and says, you know what, man, I want you to have this because I think you're great. And that's usually what I have received several of them throughout the years. I have received different little tokens. Like the men do these. This is a man thing. But the sad part of it is I do wonder if Pence really even got anything for it. Did he get a book deal? Maybe. Did he go anywhere else in politics? Not really. Is he holding on with his fingertips just to try to be a little bit relevant? Yeah, absolutely. But Mr. Q-Tip himself, I mean, dude, you gotta do better. And is there a way for him to redeem himself? Self-sacrifice, right? Isn't that how all heroes or alleged criminals or masterminds or the bad guy of the movie? That's how they try to redeem themselves, is they do something magnanimous at the very end to change something. So maybe, just maybe, Pence comes out and does a whole, hey, here's how they did it. Here's where all the bodies are buried for real. And by the way, I will ask you a quick question, and I'm not trying to be a jerk to General Flynn here, but dude, if you know where the bodies are, let's start talking. Just get it out there, bro. I mean, you're old enough now. You've got enough millions. You've gotten your settlements. You got paid out on your stuff. Why don't you go ahead and just tell us really where the bodies are, sir? If you really have this, there are millions of men and women that will back you and surround your home and go out and protect you and do amazing things if you just rallied the troops to tell us where the bodies are buried. Just asking for a friend. Guys, I have told you the people that have harmed me. I have told you the people that are harming you. I have told you as much as I know. There's very little I have gate cap. And mostly I gatekeep because a lot of it really has to do with I am getting it from a source that I have no other validation other than that individual who I trust. So I don't repeat it. But wait, maybe Mike Pence can come out and clear everything up. Maybe he can be a better man. Maybe there's a part of him that's, going out there being a cool guy. I don't know. But I do know that people can meet the devil at the crossroads, and I do know that they can meet a version of that and get ahead of themselves or go out and sell this or that. And some people go all the way, like King James, right? So that guy, the King James, the basketball player, has got a chest tattoo that will tell you the moment he retires, the moment he is no longer doing what he's doing, that there will be a huge sacrifice in his life occurring. Look at the chest tattoo on LeBron James. And you may say, well, that's a cool tattoo, or he was just doing it because it was fashionable or whatever. Okay. No, it doesn't work that way. See, the sad part of it is it depends on how much you want to sell away. It depends on how far you want to go. And like I said, even the people that went after me, Ben Burgess, the guy who did what he did, now that you got the head judge out there, Judge Woods, they were all doing all this cover for each other, but for what? What money did you get? What election did you win? What did you do? You sold out for what? For the establishment because Ben wanted to get a federal appointment? His words, not mine. See, sometimes that people just want to stay relevant. They just want to be somebody, and they can't figure out how not to be a judge. And so they're willing to do some things that puts another person's life into a complete tailspin. Again, thank you, Ben. Thank you, all of you guys who came into my life and destroyed it because I needed to be a better man. And I mean that absolutely 100%. There's no way, two ways about it. I wasn't bad to people, but I wasn't the best I could be. And I wasn't good to myself at all. Because I lied about what I thought love was. I lied to myself about those things. But yet, I could tell you through Judge Woods redacting and sealing my probable cause statement for a year, costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it unsealed and unredacted. Hey, I learned lessons there, man. I learned about what redaction means, what a probable cause statement really means, and how important and how valuable that is. And if you don't have the genesis of the case right, if you don't have that very moment of it, the zygote, that's got the sperm and the egg, then none of it is relevant. Oh, but we can't have that conversation because Ben Burgess signed it, right? He signed that no-knock warrant on my house as my friend and had coffee with me that morning. See, this is what people do because he thought he was going to continue to be a judge. He thought he was going to get a step up. But small town Kansas didn't have enough weight for him, I guess. But the point of it is, guys, is that at the end of the day, a lot of people sell out little thises and that, but I do believe there's a path back every single time. I really do. And maybe it's not the easy path, and maybe it's not a path that you want to go through. Maybe it is a self-destructive path because you got to get rid of all the things that you built up that you thought you were, LeBron James. By the way, you're not a good basketball player. You've played long enough to score a lot of points. You've been there long enough to do a lot of things. But if I look at Larry Bird from a guy who didn't have the good athlete genes, didn't have the height like you have, didn't have the strength that you have, but had the determination and the fortitude to sit there and French lick and just shoot free throws all day long. And yet you don't even bother. But see, the problem is when you go ahead and you sell that soul out, there's a point where you just get tired of being it anyway. Because when you sold yourself out at 18 and you thought that this is the path you wanted to go on to be that guy, and this is where I want to be, and I'm going to put this tattoo over the center of my heart, right over my chest. I don't know, LeBron, can you get it back? You shoved your kid into the NBA when he wasn't ready. You were shoved in the NBA when you weren't ready. So what are you doing? Repeating that pattern? Or can you stop the trauma? Can you come out on this and tell everybody about this? Can you actually end up being the guy who really says he meditates and does those things? Or reads a book? Oh, you're a big book reader, huh, LeBron? Okay. Or did they pay you enough? See, the point of it is I don't know how this guy gets paid and why he stays so relevant, but everybody still seems to think so, don't they? Or is that the spell that even he's under, that people around him think that he's great? But the selling off of your soul, doing these things like Karen Bass and the stuff that she has done, she thinks that the end product is just winning the election. It's just the election. It does the election. But the problem is that when you look at what that really means, what the election really means, where a person wants to feel valued, they want to have that representation, they want to go in and mean it, that when they push that button, when they hit that peg in the chat or the hanging chat in Florida or whatever the hell that was all about, we all know. That was all bloodline stuff, by the way, guys. Daddy Bush, that was all bloodline stuff. Anyway. So we got to think about that. His chest tattoo is the all-seeing eye. Look beyond these. You're talking about the triangle with the eye in it, right? Look behind it. There's actually, if you look in behind it, there's another symbol in there. And that is Moloch or Baal, depending on which way you want to read your history. I do believe Kobe is in witless relocation, Ken. I think that either the insurance company was going after him for what he was going up against the insurance companies for, or him and his daughter, who were the closest ever. There was amazing stories about him and his daughter and how close they were, but that she went with him that morning to go to his whatever, which she never went to, and then they took off in fog, and then they had more fuel than they were supposed to. There was thousands of things that were wrong, but to me, just like JFK going down in fog, there's a lot of, you don't really know who was in the plane. The plane was in the water, the body got decomposed, who knows? Oh, the helicopter hit the side of the mountain going a bazillion miles an hour with lots of extra fuel. So, anyway, I don't know. It's a big deal, I believe, that a lot of these people that talk about meeting at the crossroads, that even in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, he even talked about that black man talking about he's met the devil at the crossroads and learned how to play this here guitar. Well, that is the Odyssey. By the way, no, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is the Odyssey just remade. It's very cleverly done, and the bluegrass music is amazing. So I do believe that Kobe is still alive. Yes. Ken says, I hope Kobe's alive. I do believe he is, just like Michael and Prince and some of these others that they were going after. Michael was never a pedophile. All those things have all come out, and how fake and false that really was, and the fact that they continue to try to tear that man apart is really just proof positive that he was on the right side of history and the right side of things. All right, guys. Well, this is going to be it for me today. I did get off on a little bit of a tangent of a little bit of the spiritual effect of things, but really keeping it still in the political of it, right? Understanding that how much of all this really means something. But if you want your elections to mean something, then be a precinct head. Literally, guys, I guarantee you, you just call your county Republican head or whatever, or you call the county seat and say, hey, is my precinct head filled? Or how many precinct head positions are empty in my county or in my state? And it will burst your bubble. It will blow your head off that most of them are empty. It's like a number like only 40% are filled. But these are the people that handle the votes at the very front lines of it. They're the very first officials. So you get to be involved, and you also get to be a public official. So you can say that about yourself. I have held public office. I am a precinct head. You can run for precinct head, or you can just be appointed because they're empty. And we need a Republican and a Democrat, and usually they want a male-female Republicans and male-female, well, identify as a female, Democrats. So male-female on both sides. They like husband-wife teams, stuff like that. Or if you just got a friend of yours or two guys, it doesn't matter. But there's usually two positions in every precinct, and that's two Republican, two Democrat. Now, by the way, if there's only two Democrat precinct heads, who gets to make the decision? The precinct heads, the Democrats. There we go. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be about it for me. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, our city, our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. There will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We will win. I promise. And my promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that whole Constitution thing? That limits the government. See, that was the brilliant part of our whole settlers that came over here and were on stolen land or whatever people want to come up with. Okay, cool stuff. They understood that governments get out of control and they should always be maintained. That's why they made sure that the Constitution limits the government, but not you. All right, guys, enough explanation about that. I'm going to get out of here. It's good seeing everybody. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I will see you guys.